Okay, so I have your permission to record. I'm just gonna prop it here, so.
Video or audio?
Well, it's looking at the pen, so it'll be
Okay.
audio, okay? Perfect. Let me get my glasses, the indoor glasses. And I wanna know if you were able to go through the questions I had sent you and provide me with some answers.
I'll pull your email up.
I printed them out in case. I have them right here.
Yeah, I mean, what do you wanna do? You wanna just go,
Yeah, let's go through them one
Question
by
by
one.
question?
Sure, that would be easiest.
so the 2021 self-study is in process.
It still hasn't been completed.
No, I think the submission deadline is somewhere in the February area.
Okay,
Yeah.
and did you ever pull up a copy of the 2016 one?
No, I didn't, but it was completed.
Well, but that doesn't help me because I wasn't able to see it and it's never been published.
I don't know that it has to be published.
Well, I don't know that it has to be either, but it's, we spent millions of dollars on this program.
I don't think we spent millions.
Yes, we have, sir. If you'd like me to do a rundown for you, I most certainly can.
Sure,
But we have spent millions.
tell me the
And this
rundown.
district has gone out of its way to obfuscate the cost of what it's spent on IB.
So, what do you, where are you getting to the millions?
I'm getting to the millions by every year spending at least $300,000 to $500,000
And where are you getting to the 300 to 500?
by
year.
breaking it out on the cost of examinations. Prior to 2019, we paid student fees to registration fees. Talking about the salaries for the IB coordinator, stipends for the EE coordinator, CASTOK. I'm talking about the 3 levels of training,
So
IB teacher
I
training.
just I wanna make sure I have.
I'm not including regular teacher salaries.
Okay, if I'm teaching IB math for a period,
Right.
you're not adding in the period
Cost
of
of-
math.
no,
Because they're
no.
gonna
Oh.
be teaching something else anyway.
Exactly,
Yeah.
only the IB coordinator.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't have an AP coordinator.
Correct.
Which is, not equitable.
Typical,
No, not typical.
it is typical for
Well, in
IB
terms-
schools.
Well,
To have
IB
an IB
schools are
coordinator.
elitist scam, which is what they are. All right, it's a total scam. And 20 years now, this is 20 years since we started investing in this UN debacle. It is anti-Semitic, anti-American, and totally undermining quality education in our schools. IB is not accredited by any higher institution like Middle Schools Association or anything like that, whereas AP courses are college level and based against college level exams. IB is its own thing. They in fact closed down their headquarters in Wales because they claimed it wasn't international enough. So the entire premise of international mindedness, which isn't even a real word, and global citizenship is bunk. Do you have a global passport or an American passport?
I have a United States passport.
Correct, so do I, all right? And creating students as social justice warriors and trying to infuse theory of knowledge, which is anti-American, anti-religion, teaching children to question what they've been taught about God in public schools is totally unethical. All right? Public schools should be secular and apolitical, and you're running a program that has an elitist, divisive course, which is only offered to a core set of students that
Which
take the
course?
full theory of knowledge,
Okay, yeah.
which IB insists that all of its courses be infused with theory of knowledge, and that all of the other courses in a high school schedule revolve around the IB diploma, which is why most of the IB diploma students have no lunch. The scheduling is terrible for them.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, I observed that IB injects its poison into a high school system through social studies. It's why our social studies teachers have always been the coordinators, like Mr. Bonaspina, and I'm not sure about this Miss Manzo. But,
Math.
okay, so
She's math.
she is now.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's social studies.
Math.
Oh, she's math.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that let's go to the basis of how Locust Valley has done this terrible pilot program for 20 years. We're too small a school. You cannot possibly run AP and IB. And Locust Valley knows that, which is why they've tried to force kids just to take IB. And have totally shortchanged AP. They only used AP because of its flexibility to offer it in 9th and 10th grades, whereas IB does not have that flexibility, and you have to be 16 years of age. All right, you question the dollar amount. I can lay it out. In fact, I was in New Hampshire and spelled it out, where again a board of ed sat before the public and totally lied about the expenses for the program. And in this district, one year they created a code for IB.
What do you mean? A budget?
In the
category?
budget,
Gotcha.
yeah. And then as soon as my daughter graduated, they got rid of it because they want to bury it. And with the year they created the code, there was obviously no expenditure for the year before because it was a newly created.
Right.
And then they had Tony Meliambro try and tell me that, oh, New York State's code book says you have to do it this way. I got New York State code book. There's nothing in there about how to code International Baccalaureate,
Right.
all right? Because the $11,000 a year, it's a membership fee.
Yeah.
Why aren't we reporting it to the public as a membership fee?
Yeah.
There's no membership fee for advanced placement. So I see you've gone ahead and scheduled your little IB info.
Yeah.
Why?
It was a request from the board.
From the board.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
From maybe one member of the board?
What can I do to change your mind? I'm telling the truth. The board had requested that presentation in the summer of 21.
No, they requested the IBAP presentation for the work session, not the IB info night for the students.
Oh. They did, yeah. I wasn't sure what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So,
No. So the IB info
Yes,
night, which is a
yes.
joke. All right.
That's an annual event. They do
Yes,
that every year.
yes, that was always done in October.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it was always done in October. So that's why I was hopeful that we would have this meeting to discuss all the downfalls and pitfalls of IB prior to the January scheduling of courses,
Gotcha.
because we have no contract with IB. There's nothing tying us to keeping this program.
I mean, right now we're committed to the program.
No, only to finish out the Rising Juniors.
But we're committed as a district to the program.
Not legally.
No, you're right, not legally.
Not legally.
But I think that the program, as it exists in our high school, is something that's part of the fabric of the high school.
Who says? What makes you have you done any survey of the community? Have you done any survey of the parents and the students?
No.
No.
Well, we've spoken with students,
A couple, I'm sure.
and I think that we've solicited feedback from students who have done the IB,
Uh-huh.
and they see value in it.
A
But
couple.
to look at a program that's been in the district for 20 years
Uh-huh.
and to eliminate that with like one fell swoop ripping off the Band-Aid, I think would be, short-sighted.
No, I
Yeah.
think it would be reflective and positive
Well, I think-
and
I-
forward
So
thinking
I would
in
think,
terms
Lisa, that
of
would
taking
reflect-
into consideration the community's feelings about how this look at the enrollment.
Yeah.
Have you seen enrollment increase in Locust Valley since IB?
In the
No,
district?
it's gone down significantly.
The district's enrollment?
Absolutely. When my
Do you
son
think
was
that that's
in
a function of IB? I think that if you looked at all of the school districts on Long Island, you see enrollments decreasing
Well,
everywhere.
in 2004, when
programmatic
Robin
issue.
Kalitri from Southside was here and
Yeah.
telling me that every great school is clamoring for IB.
Yeah,
All right, I did a survey
yeah.
of the great schools in Nassau County in particular.
Mhm.
All right, Jericho, Manhasset, Roslyn, Wheatley,
Right.
even Oyster Bay, my alma mater. Do you know they all rejected IB?
Mm.
They didn't want it. And if you look at the number of IB authorized schools in the United States today
Mhm.
compared with 2005, it's almost identical.
Mhm.
Whereas as IB claimed they would have 20 times more schools
Right.
authorized.
Right.
There has never been a school in the United States that made application to IB who didn't get
Mhm.
it, as long as the check is good.
Right.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And you want to dispute the dollar amount? I'm telling you, Ken.
I'm not looking
We've
to dispute
spent
it, I
at
just
least
wanna know.
$8 million dollars.
Yeah.
At least
Since the
eight.
inception through current.
Yes.
Yeah. But I wonder, if we were doing a
AP.
different program. Let's
AP
say
and honors.
Yeah, or let's say it was co-enrolled college level classes with Adelphi or LIU or something to that effect.
Uh-huh.
What would the costs there be? Like, that's what I'm not sure about.
Well, but that's the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
let's compare to AP, which we have.
Yeah.
All right, and I can tell you, and I'm going to quote now my friend who's deceased. She was the mayor of Upper Brookville,
Okay.
and she came before the board, and she's from Wales, and very famously said IB is superfluous.
Mm.
Now, you're saying it's baked into the school. Well, that's a problem.
Mm.
All right, because now it shouldn't be.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be. Back in 2005, I filed an appeal with the New York State Commissioner. I wanted to put it on on a proposition on the ballot for the public to decide whether we wanted this or not.
That was when the district was becoming an IB school?
District was already authorized in
Okay.
September 2004.
Okay.
All right, I filed and it went, and I did not hire a lawyer.
Mhm.
Did it all myself,
Wow.
okay? So I was very proud of myself for getting it in a timely manner and having standing, proving standing.
Yeah.
But what the result of it was that the commissioner said that the curriculum is decided by the Board of Ed.
Mhm.
That's their sole discretion, so that we couldn't have a vote on it in the
Right.
public.
Right.
All right, I accept that. I accept that, and that's why I have been speaking with a lot of the members of our Board of Ed
Yeah.
about our curriculum. Now, as you know, Sean Steele is an AP coordinator for his
Mhm.
school and teaches AP US history. I have always believed our public schools should be secular and apolitical.
Mhm.
So no matter what and I got to tell you, before IB, I was the least political person on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I even voted for Bill Clinton because I liked that he played the saxophone. Okay, it's very embarrassing for me to admit that.
That was part of his running platform, right?
Well, so my daughter was in 10th grade at the time. My son graduated in 2001, so we didn't have any of these issues.
Yeah.
My daughter was gifted. She was in the Omega program, which I'm also very sad that this district got rid of. I
Yeah.
have no idea why.
Yeah.
I'd love to bring that back. Bring back Revolving Door.
What's revolving door?
Revolving Door was for the kids. It wasn't, you know, you didn't have to have a certain IQ, but you just had to display an interest in say, science or math or, and it was at the elementary level, and it was a 6-week rotating program where the kids would go out and do a special, they'd
Okay.
call it, on. And my son was in that, and he enjoyed that. So there were things for everybody, but now what happened was with the whole Renzulli and Howard Gardner and all of that nonsense, you know, everybody gets a trophy, everybody's the same, nobody can excel, and the gifted kids are just used as teachers' helpers,
Right.
and it's not right. It's not right. I mean, my daughter, when I told my daughter, she's 32 now, I said to her, you know, they got rid of Omega. She goes, Mom, you're kidding me. That was what kept me sane.
Do you know when that program fell?
That must have happened sometime after 2007.
Okay.
So that's when my daughter graduated.
Yeah.
She went
I mean,
on.
I heard about the program a little bit. I never heard of the revolving door one, but I
Okay.
heard about Omega, and some people were talking about that. From
Yeah.
my parent council and things like that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Omega was great, you
Yeah.
know, and I know they had problems where there were certain parents who would say, well, my kid has a 128
Right,
IQ, and
right.
you know, but again, standards.
Yeah.
We need standards, and IB has no standards. You cannot find published standards for IB. All right, and what this school district has done is an absolute abomination. Now, if you want to look at the IB diploma program in Singapore,
Yeah.
where 425 students, 424 of them earn the IB diploma, all right, maybe that's feasible for
Yeah.
them. But here, we have terrible, well, 14 kids get the diploma. You saw 16 last year. Plus the fact that we don't even have, they didn't have exams because IB is still operating on a 1968 mindset and worldview. And Ken, look, I know you were at Long Beach. I know you were there when Long Beach got the 1.3 million in ARA money,
Yeah.
and that's what's launched IB. I follow the money, all right? I know that there's a whole network of superintendents that push IB.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, I think that's probably why you left Sachem and came here to keep pushing IB.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong. I think Sachem was a school district with 15 buildings and 13,000 students.
13,000, wow, okay.
13,000 students, and a lot of my job focus was not on education, it was just managing that giant city, you know, because that's what it was, a city.
Sure.
And this, to me, Locust Valley looked like a great opportunity.
Like a country club.
You know,
Come on.
just certainly different, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it was, to me, a professional opportunity, but not, you know, I didn't look to bring IB into Sachem.
No.
You know, that's
Okay,
not,
because I have a real problem with the position of assistant superintendent. We eliminated that position in this district. We used to
Yeah.
have Eric Berger, then we had Janet Cipriano, then
yeah,
for a while they had Richard Shear. Now, you were in Long Beach. Do you remember when Richard Shear was an interim principal in Island Trees?
no,
Island Park, I mean.
Yeah.
Island
I didn't
Park,
know,
no.
I didn't know Richmond
Because
did
Island
that.
Park feeds into
They,
Long Beach.
the Island Park used to have a choice. They could go to either West Hempstead or
Right,
Long Beach.
right. So, you know, I have a website, Truth
Yeah.
About IB.
I had heard that.
Yes, it's been very active. I mean, we even gave scholarships to kids. I gave a $500 scholarship to a kid from Germany to
Wow.
Maastricht
Wow.
University because IB screwed him over with, he was sick
Mm.
for one of his final exams and they wouldn't award him the diploma.
Wow.
So I had fundraised and we got him a
A little
scholarship, and then I gave another $500 to a Bayville student. I had essays. I had them write essays,
Wow.
and my readers chose which they and little Buffer girl, she's sweet, but you know, so I haven't been as active on that, but I've
Yeah.
kept my money. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's funding me.
Yeah.
Unlike Jay Matthews, all right, whose co-author of his book was the assistant director of IBO,
Mm.
Ian Hill,
Mm-hmm.
published by Open Court, who is a board member of IBO.
Mm.
All right, so when he says he's unbiased,
Yeah.
sorry, they're paying him to be an annual speaker at South Beach in Florida,
Mm.
all right, at a 5-star hotel. So
IB.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, oh yeah, Jay's an annual speaker. And I mean, I've had lunch with him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in his book.
Yeah.
I'm his nemesis. But, you know, he told me he was up at a superintendent's conference up in, I think, near Buffalo once.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, you have a fan. And I go, I do? He said, yeah, superintendent up in Buffalo. He can't stand IB. I'm like, well, look, I care about all of the children.
Yeah.
All right, I was the vice president of SEPTA. My son had ADD,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter was gifted.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I kind of had a little range there.
Yeah.
I sat on the first site-based team.
Mm-hmm.
I,
For the high school?
no,
Or
for
district
Bayville
or-
Primary.
Oh, okay.
Bayville Primary at the time. And interestingly enough, I was going to ask you about that. So, what happened? It's just kaput? Because the last
With
law I could find governing site base from the Commissioner's Regulations 100.11 technically expired December 15th, 2020.
I think we still have iterations of site-based.
But you don't have operating teams that meet every month.
I think we do. With representation. I think the high school just met today.
Well, I don't think they're publishing the minutes at the libraries or,
Yeah, I could look into it for you.
you know, I'm curious because, again, this is something we need to talk about curriculum. And this,
So let me ask you something.
this is horrible. You're not teaching our kids American history.
What do you mean?
Look at the future of what's here on for 20 framework exam. And give me a break, framework exam.
What is that
You-
document?
This is what you had provided me with the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
program
yeah,
review,
yeah.
which I appreciate very much. Thank you. You know, going from the changeover from core curriculum, and I also read that New York State is considering reimagining the IB diploma
And
as
did you
a,
see it's gonna be one of a potential alternative pathway?
which is garbage.
Yeah.
All right, it's total garbage
What do you
because
mean?
for years I had New York State on this district. All right, because with IB they are not meeting the New York State graduation requirements in terms of economics and U.S. 12th grade, the half-year
Economics
courses.
and participation in government.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, and
So
I
those are
have.
typically covered in HODA year 2, History of the Americas.
No,
year
they're
2.
not. And come on, Ken, you know they're not. You know they're not. I know a very bright boy. In fact, I believe his sister's one of our guidance counselors now, Brett Fallon, and he was one of the first iterations of IB. And he took history of the Americas and went to Duke.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? He failed economics at Duke because he had no background in it from Locust Valley High School. Now, this is a kid who, in first and second grade, where they'd say Johnny has 32 cents and 28 cents, and how much can he spend at the store? And Brett would raise his hand and he'd say, well, is there sales tax? And the teacher would say, Brett, we're not computing sales tax. He's like, but I know how to compute sales tax, and they wouldn't let him do it. Okay? So, but Brett failed economics at Duke. All right? Because we are not providing a solid education for these kids. IB, these kids are stressed to the max. There are threads on Quora about suicides from IB.
Yeah.
All right? There's no reason these kids should be going through this kind of stress for this program when we can. My son-in-law just got his PhD.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. He went
What
to
did you get it in?
biomedical engineer. All right? And he went to Half Hollow Hills West.
Okay.
He took 12 AP courses in high school. He was accepted early admission to Columbia. All right, I think I don't even know that he really got a master's. He worked at the Feinstein Center and then went to Hofstra for his PhD. The kid's brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, but he didn't need IB.
Right.
Why do we need this?
Well, I mean, it's a program, right? A rigorous program. That
No, do not use that word. Do not use the word rigorous, Ken.
Why?
You've been programmed to use it.
You don't think
First
that
of all, it's
IB
not,
is
no.
rigorous?
No, I think rigorous is a very negative term. I think it's a
Negative
very,
how so?
because I think it's rigorous in that they make them do a lot of unnecessary work
Oh,
and strain
yeah.
and irrelevant work.
Yeah.
And I do not think it's a positive feature.
Yeah.
Also,
I
it
mean,
is
you know,
not,
some of the feedback, the anecdotal feedback that I've heard from students who have achieved the IB diploma is when it comes to, and I'm not going to use rigor, but let's say when it comes to the volume of work and then the depth of work, that students have come back and said to districts, and I haven't spoken with a lot of alumni from Locust Valley. My experience in Long Beach, when we did speak with alumni, is they said the experiences that I had in the diploma program made it so that I was so prepared for college level work.
I don't
Yeah, but that
really, I mean, it's,
That doesn't mean that.
it's hearsay.
Well, that
Again,
doesn't-
that's hearsay.
No, that's
So-
firsthand.
So
from the
listen,
students.
this was a picking point of Jay Matthews that he always was annoyed about, that most universities do not award college credit for standard level IB courses
Right.
or exams.
Right.
Okay, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I'm not making that
No,
up. Okay. Locust Valley, for some unknown reason, now this was again one of my original questions to IB.
Yeah.
What is the difference in degree of difficulty between standard level and higher level? I thought that was a very reasonable question. And they told me there is no difference in degree of difficulty, that a standard level course consists of 150 hours and a higher level course consists of
More hours.
240
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So why?
And then there are additional topics that are covered within the HLs.
Well, okay, 200. So why is Locust Valley running standard level courses over 2 years?
I think that it's an issue that districts who have the IB program have grappled with, because you're trying to make sure that students can access the work and be successful, right? I know.
But how are they going to be successful? I mean, they're not going to get college credit for it.
Well, I think it's their demonstration of understanding in the field of study. Like the IB physics, I know SL is a difficult course over
Uh-huh.
1 year, right? So the idea would be to put it either with a lab section or extend it over 3 semesters or something like that.
Well, but AP Physics C is a difficult
difficult
course as
also,
well.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so why would you see? To me, it's just they did it. It's smoke and mirrors. All right, it's an elitist, 10-syllable name tag to put on it. When they first brought it into the school, I was at a meeting and they actually sat up there and talked about renaming the high school Locust Valley Academy. And I stood up. I said, "Are you people kidding me?" I said, "This is a public school.
Yeah.
We have Friends Academy. We have Portledge now is IB."
Yeah.
So, Ken, here's what I propose. And you gave me the idea for this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because you and Brian talking about the lottery for,
Oh, pre-K. Yeah.
have a lottery for Portledge IB. Get it out of our public school. All right? Their tuition is $41,700. We spend about $45K per student.
All right.
All right? Find out today how many people really, really want the IB diploma.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm serious. Survey the people who come tonight, the parents. How many of you are so intent on getting the IB diploma that it means so much to you? Or, you know, how many of you would be just as happy if your child had the choice of AP courses or honors courses? All right? I mean, my daughter had to take Regents courses
Right.
because they couldn't. Both of my kids did half day at Long Island High School for the Arts,
Okay.
which was unbelievably fabulous. And I think they did it just to try and shut me up, but unfortunately.
Are they still involved with the arts?
My daughter is an artist. She
Okay.
graduated summa cum laude from NYU.
Congratulations.
My son graduated from SUNY Purchase, married his
Art school.
college. He worked as a lighting designer
Neat.
for 10 years in the city. But he also had a little side business printing comic books.
Oh, no kidding.
And I sold him a house in Bayville. I'm a realtor.
Okay.
And he has a 3-car garage, which he converted to
Studio.
yeah, and he is super successful.
Wow.
Thank you very much. So, like years after the boys were born, and you know he was going into the city at 2 in the morning and not getting home till 1:30, and then everything got political in 2016, and you know he was frustrated and
Yeah.
he was covering Bloomberg News, and I'm like, ugh. And I said, "Son, you'll never get these years back. If you can quit," and you know, his wife's an art teacher in Glen Cove. I said, "If you can afford it, stay home."
Yeah.
And he goes, "You sure?" I said, "Look, I know you trained for this. I know you put 10 years in, you know,
Yeah.
it's not nothing. But it's the best decision he ever made."
Oh,
and I mean, to have these years with the boys, you know, it's priceless.
So can I ask you a question? Just because I know you obviously are passionate about
You think?
not having IB, right?
Right.
Do you not think that our school can continue to have both programs?
No, I don't. From the beginning.
Why?
From the very beginning, it's
mean,
too
we've done
small. It's too small, and you've done it badly.
So that's what I
They've done it badly. Look at the
interested in knowing,
results.
what could we, in your mind or in your eyes, what do we need to do better then?
You need to get rid of IB and offer
Let's say I'm trying to think like if we
lottery.
kept both
Send them to
programs.
Portledge
I
if
don't know
people
that we
want
can do
that.
legally.
I think you can, but
sure
I mean,
about
you'd
that.
obviously have to work out an agreement with Portledge.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'd be more than happy to take the 41.7 per student.
They
And,
would.
you know, and that's like they've talked about all over the country, have the tax money follow the student. So in my mind, you would pacify anyone who was so looking forward to IB for their precious darlings to ruin their last 2 years of high school. I mean, there were no exams. How is that a decent program? They're inept. They're inept. I mean, I know all about their little secret cyber route, whatever you call it. I know I've been talked about
What's
in
the
there.
secret cyber route?
Yeah, that the teachers have access to in IB. You don't know
The
about it?
OCC, the online curriculum
Yeah,
center?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I know I've been talked about in there.
Oh.
I've had death threats.
Wow.
Okay. I've been in contact with teachers from Scotland and Taiwan and all over the world. I mean, I look. I helped get rid of the superintendent in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Wow.
All right. I was called in by one of the board members. She was a law school graduate from Yale. She said, something's funny's going on. She said, help me find out what it is. Well, he had put through an application for the high school without the board approval. No.
Yeah,
And he
that's
quit with a year in Sidney Freund, who used to be in Oyster Bay, my alma mater. All right. He quit a year and a half of his contract left.
Wow.
All right, and we had people talking, international attorneys speaking at board meetings about that. I mean, it's so controversial. They almost flew me out till the school district put a kibosh on it to Incline Village, Nevada, where a father of four, John Eppolito, this guy's great. All right, he went up against a private consortium, said they would raise money to put IB into the Incline Village schools, K-12.
Wow.
All right? We fought it. Letters to the editor, op-eds. At the time, there was the Tea Party. I'm like, John, get the Tea Party in on it, all right? Who else was there running for governor? Sharon. Oh, God, I'm so bad with names. But anyway, John fought. And in the end, the consortium couldn't come up with all the money. All right? So they didn't get their IB, and Morrison, the superintendent, fled the district in embarrassment, and he went to Charlotte Mecklenburg, where, IB's big there. And then he was fired after a year.
Wow.
So I just say I've been all over.
Yeah,
all right.
clearly you have a lot of connections.
In
and,
Ohio,
interactions.
all right, we stopped it from expanding and got it out of there. They had it in the elementary in the PYP in Indian Hills. Up in Monticello, we got rid of it. They had it in 3 elementary schools. All right, I prevented it from going into Garden City. I prevented it from going into Glen Cove. I prevented it from Island Park. And that was right before Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
And the friend invited me in, and I'm sitting in the classroom listening to their presentation, and Richard Shear goes walking by in the hall and sees me there. I thought the poor man was going to have a heart attack. But
So that's what I was trying to
Richard,
figure
let
out.
me just tell you, Richard
Yeah.
Shear told me when he was principal here that my time would be better spent volunteering in the cancer ward than trying to get rid of IB. And when my father was dying of leukemia. All right, so this is the kind of compassion and understanding I've received from this district. Now, Anna Hunderfund, they claim that she was fired for other reasons, but I dropped the dime on her because with IBO in Maryland, because she was trying to bring IB into the elementary. And I got from the board actions, she had hired a consultant. They were using the language, the IB learner profile, all right, which is copyrighted.
Yeah.
And you don't play with Swiss copyright law. All right, all of this is, so back to the law. There is no contract. And
Right.
that back when Richard Hurt was here, that one of the first questions, because I always follow the money, is I want to see the contract.
Right.
He said, there is no contract. I was like, you're kidding me. So the only thing is technically the application in which it says you have to finish out the Rising Juniors, which is fair. You've already got the kids into the program, finish them out. But that would be this year's juniors,
Yeah.
which means you don't need to offer it to 10th graders.
See, I think that people want the program.
Why? Just because you like it? I mean,
Not
you,
because
you've
I
never
like it,
asked
never mind
anybody.
me. I've had people come and ask about us doing a presentation on IB or college level offerings and say what a mistake it would be for this district to eliminate the IB program.
How many people?
A handful.
A handful, right?
Yeah, but it's
right, I'm
similar to the
sure. The
handful that have come and
globalists.
said to me that we shouldn't have it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, your voice is clearly one that's compassionate about this and a loud voice on this, right? You've written a book, you've been in other districts, but I have heard, you know, people, just as many people who have said we absolutely should not have IB. Other people have said, forget about our staff because I think our staff likes the program too. But that message aside.
Sure, they like little getaways.
I-
So back to the questions.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever find out how many teachers need training?
We need to train teachers in every discipline. So we haven't sent people for training a lot in the past 2 years for obvious reasons. Right?
Uh-huh.
But we have continued to maintain the required number of teachers that need to be trained. So we've had people participate in online training, but you know, we haven't had people going to different places to train.
Right, because that's, you know, a huge expense
Yeah.
when you send them out of state and you got airfare and hotel and
Mhm.
car rental and meals and,
Yeah.
and plus the $750 per person fee for the
registration for the class.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I know these things add up. And
Yeah.
then you gotta hire a substitute to
Yeah.
cover their class.
Yeah.
So that really should be counted in as a cost.
Sure.
Now, AP does not have all of this nonsense. And I mean, I've heard from teachers that these IB training courses are like EST. Do you remember EST?
No, what is that?
Oh, it was like primal scream therapy. It's just junk.
Yeah.
Junk. It's not really education. And look, I don't have a string of letters after my name, but I consider myself to have common sense.
Yeah.
I also feel I raised two fantastic kids who are both successfully graduated university. They're married, they own homes.
Yeah.
I have grandkids. I've been married to the same man for 46 years. You know, I just, in terms of community,
Yeah.
I've established myself here, and I know I see all of this social justice nonsense
Yeah.
going on between the CRS and the DEI and well, it's not CRT, but it is CRT, and they're not teaching facts. And for so many years, I've heard nothing but, oh, rote learning is bad. And you know, we have to include, everyone gets a trophy, and no, stop. You know, yeah, I have white Catholic grandsons, and nobody's gonna tell them that they're responsible for some black child's failures or oppression. No, they're good boys, and I mean, we have this
But what does that have to do with IB?
IB is all political. The very first words they were used, sustainability.
Sustainability is a political term?
Absolutely.
How so?
When you're talking about green, everything being green and climate change.
That's political?
Yes, climate change is a theory. All right, but they're
I
not
was a
teaching it as
science-
theory.
I was
You
a
know, you were earth
Science
science.
teacher, so I'm thinking climate change just purely on looking at the empirical data of the temperature by year or something to that effect.
Has not
right?
increased, and the ice shelf has expanded, not decreased.
Okay.
Okay, and interesting story going back to when my son, who graduated 2001, So in the 90s, when he was in middle school, this district decided to have a policy where there were no midterms or final exams in middle school. And I said, well, that's really stupid. How's he supposed to go into high school and not have experience with taking a final exam?
Yeah.
So he had the best teacher in the world in 7th grade, Mr. Lambrick. God, I love Jack Lambrick. Do you know, I had sent a note in once they were going on a field trip, and he had explained how it connected to the curriculum. And I said, thank you for explaining how this field trip ties to the curriculum. And he said, Mrs. McLaughlin, thank you for writing this. You're the only parent who's ever thanked me.
It's nice, right?
So anyway, 8th grade they offered earth science, which I believe was your specialty,
It
correct?
was.
Yes. And I said, Mr. Lambrick, I want my son to take a Regents exam in 8th grade before going on to high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I tell you what, if he averages a 90, I will recommend him for the earth science. And of course, my son never exceeding expectations. He scored exactly a 90, and he did.
He hit the mark.
He hit the mark, okay? But that, I feel we need benchmarks. We need, there's no way you can improve IB in our school
Why?
because it's
I mean,
a
what are some
failed
What
model.
are some benchmarks? So you're talking to the new guy, right? So what are
Right.
some benchmarks that you would see as measures of success?
Knowledge of AP US history
How would you demonstrate that?
through the exam.
The AP exam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a college level exam.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but back when we had IB History of the Americas, at the time Judy Marino was our assistant superintendent.
No.
Judy and I went to school together.
Okay.
Her father was Ralph Marino,
Okay.
the Republican senator. And I was looking at what they were teaching these children, and I said, Judy, Judy, that they're using Howard Zinn's A People's History of the Americas of the United States as the primary textbook. She's like, oh my God. I said, yeah, he's a socialist. It's a Marxist view. It's an anti-American view
Yeah.
of the United States. She got rid of it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the new guy is planning on ordering that.
No, we don't utilize Zen.
Well, I sure hope not, because I'll be on top of that if you do.
I have no doubt that you won't be on. That you won't
But-
be on top of it.
So this is the thing. I came in here very open-minded initially. I said, show me the lessons, lesson plans. Show me what's being taught. And they hid everything. They wouldn't show me.
Yeah.
And that's when I started exploring things. And I got in touch with Julian Allen Quist of EdWatch, all right, and conservatives. And Thomas Sowell, all right, who opposes IB.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know your politics, but Thomas Sowell, I think, is very, very bright. And, you know, I'm not a racist. I've been called a xenophobe since 2004 just because I was asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm not a xenophobe. I took Latin and French in high school. I have gay French friends. I've traveled all over. I'm not a xenophobe.
Yeah.
And I have no objection to learning, having children learn about all different parts of the world. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
But IB, the presentation is, I mean, I'm curious what's being said in our schools today about January 6th, considering we have the ADL, No Place for Hate. And I looked at their page today of what they're saying about the January 6th insurrection and extremism and hate and all of that. And I'm concerned. I'm going to do a debrief with my grandsons as to what you know, if they were told anything today. But it's very concerning to me when I see friends of mine getting locked up by the FBI because they were just peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
They weren't even inside the Capitol. So, you know, these sort of things, I wasn't there, frankly. I was sitting in front of the TV and on the phone with my surgical scheduler because I had to have the aortic aneurysm. So I'm watching.
So you weren't going to DC that day?
No. No. And I'm going, oh my God, they're storming the Bastille. Is exactly what I said to her, you know? I mean, it was bizarre. So that's no, I had friends who were down there, you know, but I didn't go down there, obviously. I was not in any physical condition to, you know, I beat cancer last year, the vocal cord cancer.
Wow.
I said there were some people who were very happy. I lost my voice completely. Poor you, Ken.